the ways of opening up your body. And I'm kind of, at this moment, moving towards my spring practice. But I know that we're still in winter, and I'm honoring that, and it really is a matter of honoring the spring practice. But you really need to be able to start moving into the fact that your bodies, if you haven't noticed already, are really beginning to open up in a different way. So I'm going to ask you to mute yourself if you are, if you're unmuted or muted, or you're unmuted at the moment, so that we can begin. So index finger and thumb in Chi Mudra, find your way with the sits bones onto the pillow and lift all the way up through the spine. Yvonne, you're going to have to mute yourself. I'm not sure where you went. Okay, yes, mute yourself, please. Thank you. And index finger and thumb together in Chi Mudra. Find yourself into the inner landscape. Take your breath all the way down into the belly. So I give everybody credit for staying with these hive practices, staying with the video practices. It's not easy. It has not been an easy year, but you have stayed with it. And there are benefits. Taking the instructions and really making them alive in your own home. Taking the breath and moving it down into the belly. And just think about the sap moving through the trees. I saw maple buckets yesterday. It was so thrilling to know it's time for the sap to be moving. So we bring that sap all the way down into the belly. And that moves the diaphragm, and that's what we want to do. Nice deep breath. Stay with the 4 long counts of an inhale in and 4 long counts of the exhale out. Think about all the things in nature right now that are beginning to open. I've even seen some migrating birds come to my feeder. And then bring your breath into the belly, then let it rise all the way up to the lungs, and then from there all the way up to the base of the neck. You want to hold at the very top of the inhale, leave a space, and then exhale out with consciousness, with awareness. Your throat, down into the lungs, and then again into the belly. We just feel the cycle of that breath in your early practice this morning, in this meditation, is centering. Deep inhale and exhale. And even on these grayer days, just bring in the blue sky, which has already begun to change color, if you've noticed. There's a shift in the blue that is happening right now. Staying long and deep with the inhale, and then with your next exhale, allow your chin to come down to the chest as you breathe into the opening of the neck and the upper part of the back. Still breathing in. Seeing if you can open up spots that might feel a little tight in this position. And then release your hands from your thighs and bring them to the floor on either side of the hips. And on the inhale, lift the arms and lift the gaze in the seated sun breath. Turn the palms and exhale with your fingertips down and chin to the chest. And then the palms roll upward again, arms and gaze all the way up. Turn the palms and exhale. Fingertips down, chin to the chest. 2 more times. Palms roll all the way up. Turn the palms and exhale. And the last time, palms roll all the way up. Hands go to prayer over your head, Anjali Mudra, and then down to the heart. You close your eyes for a moment and just breathe into your own inner landscape. We welcome the beginnings of the spring practice as we are still in winter here with the small awarenesses of the openings. And be aware of the subtle differences in your body that you're feeling and maybe opening up to without even thinking about it. Just maybe spending a little more time outside, taking the air, whatever it is. Just be aware of how you are opening to the spring. And to that opening, let's open up our eyes and release our hands. Let's come into a standing pose. Come all the way up. We start working to open the body. Feet are parallel, mat width apart, and I want you to bend your knees this time. I don't normally ask for that, but I'm going to bend your knees into the turn, the hips moving, and then move in the opposite direction. Nice deep breath. Original side, just moving all the way around, and then the second side. Good. Then bringing your feet all the way back. You're going to have feet parallel to one another. Arms are going to reach all the way up. You're going to exhale and fold. Shins forward, thighs back, head down, arms swing out to the side. We'll do this a number of times so we can really let our breath move through us. Exhale and fold. Head down towards the floor, arms swing out to the side as we inhale all the way back up. Exhale and fold. And then inhale halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and fold again, and arms swing out to the side as we inhale all the way up. We're going to go deeper into this stretch. Your wrist, your hand is going to hold, left hand holding onto your right wrist and stretch. Contends with your right foot all the way onto the floor. Now we're feeling one part of your body stable, another part stretching, breathing in. Just kind of allow for that deeper breath. Come all the way back to center and switch your hands and your wrist. Left foot onto the floor and stretch. So it's a little different when this foot is just kind of not grounded. I'm not stretching. So stretch from the waist down to the feet, waist up. Feel the difference. Inhale, come all the way back up. One more time, switch the wrist. Right foot is solid so that I can stretch into the side body. Inhale all the way up, switch your wrist. And then release, come all the way back, and slowly let your arms come all the way down, just feeling that. Take the head of the arm bone up toward the ear and back. And just begin to be aware, are you standing like this? Your hips slightly forward, even a little bit. Got to take the thighs back, take the rib cage, and really get a strong standing pose. Notice how you're doing Tadasana, how you're doing the mountain pose. This is the time to really bring that awareness in. And then from the back to the front. All right, arms reach all the way back up again. Well, spread your hands and really let your fingers stretch to the blue sky. And then come all the way back to the earth. Right foot back into the runner stretch. Hands on either side of your feet. Don't let them go forward or back. That's just a bad habit. Bring your hands right to your foot. Bend into your knee. Take the top of the left hip back. Breathing in. Right heel lifts up. Press it back. It's going to be so strong it can let you lift. Counterbalance your torso coming all the way up. Right heel will do that. Connect the core to the right heel, the core to the back of your head. Actually, bring your hands to the back of your head. Woohoo! That's a lot. Nice deep breath. Release. Come all the way back. Right foot up to meet the left. Head down towards the floor. Arms swing all the way up as we inhale all the way up to a standing Tadasana. Exhale and fold. Uttanasana. Left foot back into the runner stretch. Right hip back. Hands right by your feet. If you're bringing your torso too far forward, you cannot bring enough energy to your back heel. Press into your left toe mound, press your heel, left heel back. Let it be so strong that it lifts you up. Good. Nice deep breath. Keep pressing the back heel. Bring your hands to the back of your head. Core to your heel, core to your head. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, Jalanhara Bandha. Bringing your hands back here, you're bringing your Jalanhara Bandha. Head back to your hands. Nice and stable. Ready for spring. Good. Then release. Come all the way back down. Left foot comes up to meet the right. Head down towards the floor. Arms swing out to the side as we inhale all the way up. Hands go to prayer over your head, then down to the heart. And breathe. Just take a nice deep breath. Good. Then let's just open up a little more. Right foot forward, left foot back. And again, here are the alignments. It's really important to know, like you can see that my right hip, my left hip, is not going this way. It's here and I'm lifting up. See if you can find that in your own body. In case you want the top of the left thigh back, when you have the top of the left thigh back, it engages your belly. There's more energy here to lift all the way up. Bending into the right knee, arms go out into the T position. And breathe. Good. Nice deep breath. We'll go over your right hand. Left arm down, right arm up. Reverse warrior. Half a moon in the morning out. Early in the morning, if you notice, it's a very powerful morning. It keeps waking me up. And then release and come all the way back to Virendrasana 2. Leave your right arm right there. Let your left arm reach. Keep your torso open. Instead of here, rotate. Feel the little toe mound, left little toe mound onto the floor. Come back to Virendrasana 2. Straighten the right foot and the right leg so that your knee is not collapsing. You're just above the knee. And I don't want you to go full deep, but I want you to stretch. Stretch your hands in opposite direction. Then take the top of the left thigh back. You might feel a little cracking in your body. Good. Inhale, come all the way back up. Come back to Virendrasana 2, hands on your hips. And just heel toe, your way all the way back and shake it out. All right. I think I'm officially warm now. Officially warm. All right. All right. Left foot, right foot, back. Again, do it this way. This is out. This is putting a lot of pressure on your lower back. You want to take your top of the thigh back, lift up. Now you've got some power to work with. Then bend into the left knee, arms go out into the T position. Now notice I'm not going out here, I'm staying upright. Like someone is pulling my right hand, allowing my torso to be more upright. So notice that, are you leaning too far? Is that'll unhinge your little toe mound. Bring it back, bring your torso back, bend. Nice deep breath. Look over your left arm, right arm down, left arm up. We're going to meet that moon. Nice deep breath, come back to Virendrasana 2. You're going to leave your left hand where it is. Right arm is going to come up to meet it. Then rotate the torso. Breathe into the spring, or almost spring. Breathe into the sap flowing. How is that? That is happening. And then come all the way back. Straighten your left knee by using your muscles. Right here. Overstretched, not stretched enough, just enough that I can feel the foot connecting to the Mula Bandha here. Now I'm stretching the arms. I'm reaching in both directions. So radiating out from the heart chakra, arms. Breathe. Nice deep breath. And then inhale and come all the way back up. Hands onto your hips and heel-toe your way all the way back. All right, one block. Here we go. Between your legs. Uddiyana Bandha. Right down here. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana. So you're going to take the top of the thigh. Hold on, hug in. Top of the thighs, back. So we move into the chair pose. And press down. Top of the thighs settling down. You find that place. Then take the rib cage, bottom tips of the rib cages. You can feel that your back is engaged. Then add the arms up. Utkatasana, the horseman's pose. From here, cross your left over onto the right. You're going to look underneath your right arm to do the twist. So it's early in the class, so don't kill yourself. You're just breathing in, taking the top of the right thigh down, just like we did to begin with. Right thigh down, reaching with the right hand. Look underneath to create a dynamic stretch to the right side. Woo, come all the way back up again. Take a few cleansing breaths. Maybe move whatever part of your body needs to be moved at this stage. Good, I'm seeing lots of different kinds of movements. Nice deep breath. Connect your feet to the earth. Okay, we're going to get some sap moving through our body. Take the top of the thighs back. Then bend your knees. So even more than your knees bending, top of the thighs go first. Then the knees bend. Then you're taking in the rib cage, right? The arms go up from there. Utkatasana. Good. Cross your right over onto the left knee. Hand to knee, knee to hand, and you're rotating. Right hip stays back. So back down and twist. Woo, nice deep breath. Then release, come all the way back up. Take the block out and come onto the floor. So we're going to do another kind of a stretch for your low back. I'm going to have you bring your tie just in case you need it. Most will not, but you might. You're going to bring your knees into your chest. You're going to take your right hand, cross it over onto the left, outside of the left foot. And you're going to press your foot away from you. You're going to, and then just breathe into your back body. So right here, you're pressing your foot into your hand, and your arm is resisting coming back. Can you see that? I'm resisting. And I'm bringing the stretch right here to my low back. And again, find a balance. We're not in a competition here. One is not to overpower the other. We're just finding that balance. Breathing in. And we're just let the pose open you in a way that it will today. Then you're going to bring all of that back down. Let both legs go straight. And just for a moment, inner spiral. Woo! Just kind of get your sits bones on there. Just gently move forward just to breathe in. I want you to breathe into the side of your body that's opening. Right? Just And we're not going far here. It's not like the goal is that you're going to go full Paschimottanasana down towards, just pulsing, 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 then release, come all the way back down. Knees are back up, left hand's crossing over. I have a wilder way of doing this, but we're going to go with the most simple route today. You're pressing your foot into your hand, hand into the foot. Again, it's a balance and not a competition. One is not to overpower the other. It's just to gently open the lower part of the back. So you're pulling your foot in and your foot is gas pedaling away. Woo, nice deep breath. Good. And then release and come all the way down. Let your feet go out this time into a Baddha Konasana with your knees fluttering. And a nice deep breath. Good. All right. So we're going to do a little bit of the same here. I'm lifting up. Goal is always to get your shoulders over your hip or maybe just a little bit forward. But if you're here, you've got to put a pillow or a blanket. You need your low back curve. And it's really, and until you can get the strength of your core connecting to your lower back, we don't want to encourage this tucked tailbone, the anterior tilt. That causes your thighs to go forward, low back pain, and you see what happens to my thoracic spine, it rounds. So we need to lift up, find that. I want you to go to both. Round, tuck under, and lift. Find your edge. Round, breathing into the back, and now find your edge, lifting straight up with a nice long spine. And when I do that, my inner groins are telling me something. I'm letting them tell. This kind of stretch. It's the contrast of the two. Again, one is not overpowering the other. We're allowing both to be in balance in our body. Good. And then release and come all the way back. Both legs straight up, inner spiral, back into Dandasana, and just walk your hands forward. Notice I am not using my tie. I'm not trying to get anywhere, I'm just pulsing. Just kind of releasing, getting my sits bones to come down and breathing into the spot I just opened. With a nice deep breath. Okay, so I want to continue some of the work that we did last week with quad stretch. Take your blocks, bring your blocks to either side, right leg forward, left leg back. I'm going to give you instructions, levels of instructions based on where you are and what's going on in your body. So if you know you have a knee that's very sensitive, pat it now, which can be bringing the mat up a couple of different, in a couple of different ways. Do not let your body be in pain. That is primo number one. No pain. We want to work with where the body is. So you're going to be on the top of the kneecap, important because we're lifting up. Okay, so you're just going to come forward, and again, listen to your hip so that you're not overstretching. We'll do it this way so that you can see. And everybody has an awareness of this. You don't want to, here we go. You don't want to do this. I can do this, but I am in pain. Okay, it's not about pain. I want to stretch here. I'm not interested in stretching the hamstrings, the strings, the ligaments around my hips. I'm just not, we're too old for that. We need them to be strong. But I want my quad open. I need my quad open. So we're stretching, we're pulsing. You're breathing in, you're using this as a guide. You may not need it. You may feel like you can control it with your hands on your hips, your knee, whatever works. But now we're going to lift the left foot, take the right hand to the foot is, I'm not sure, opposite hand from whatever foot you're using. This could be where you need your tie. What I want you to do, though, is bring your hips to your heel. Hips to heel. So it seems counterproductive. Now I want you to bring the whole thing forward. And it's a different stretch, right? Hip to heel. So we're off of the edge of your hip. And then bring the whole thing forward. Woo, doggies. All right, release that. Come all the way back. Let's just move into a downward dog before we move into the other side. You can either do a dolphin or dog, depending on where you are or what feels right to you. Bend into your knees, take the top of the thighs back, whichever one you're doing. Fingerprints down, back of the palm, knuckles down. You want to get off your wrist as much as possible. You want to get off your shoulders as much as possible, which is why you take the sit bones back. Bend your knees so you can really work your hamstrings. If your hamstrings are tight, then bend your knees. It's okay. This is a great pose. Take the heel back. Bring the belly up towards the spine. Bring the rib cage in. Woohoo! Now I got a little bit more thoracic energy. Woo! Good. Then release and come all the way back down. Other side, other leg. Bring whatever other leg is forward. I'll show it this side for me. My left is coming forward, my right is back. I'm pulsing, I'm holding the edge with my toes. Pressing my heel back away from my hips. So I'm hugging the midline. I'm always feeling like I'm balanced here. And then inhale up and exhale forward. And inhale up. Again, it's not a competition. You want to feel like your quad is really stretching. And inhale up, exhale, stretch. And inhale up. So you're going to now take your right foot up and my left hand is holding. So I'm going to bring my hip to my heel. That's the trick. Hip to heel. Breathe in. Take the whole thing forward. Keeping your heel as close to your hip as possible, and that's where the stretch is. We could do this up against a wall, but you would say I was torturing you, and that's how I learned this, but we won't torture you today. You can do this right up against the wall if you want, but it's a little easier this way. You have a little bit more control, but this is a very deep stretch. The only other thing you can add to this is actually taking your knee towards your face. Boy, now that gives you a really deep quad stretch. And it's not for the faint of heart. All right, then come all the way back. Let the blocks go off to the side now. And mat out. Fingerprints down, back of the palm, knuckles down. Come into dolphin or dog. And then I want you to lift your right leg up. Now, here it is, Rosie, flexible Rosie, right? I can bend easily. I can stretch my leg up, but I want to be strong. So I'm going to take my rib cage in, which is going to bring my leg down. And I don't care, because now I want to press my heel back. I want the upper part of my back strong. Nice deep breath. To add a little more of a challenge, you can bend into the left knee, optional, and then straighten the left knee. And again, bend, keep your right heel pressing away. Make sure your bottom tips of the rib cage in, Uddiyana Bandha is in and engaged. And then release, come all the way back down. Come back into the table pose, you might be exhausted. Knees out, toes together. Roll back, extended child, and breathe. So when you ask one part of your body to stay steady, You ask another part to connect to the other parts of your body. It's a different practice. That's why this practice is an intermediate practice. It is not for the faint of heart. So if you're watching this in the video, take this moment for breath and begin to, the point is to make those connections in your body. This is what brings us to that inner landscape, that midline. Then inhale, come all the way back up. Find your way back to downward dog. Fingerprints down, back of the palm, knuckles down. Left leg lifting. You might want to just lift the leg and don't care so much about your rib cage at the moment, just to get the leg straight out there. But then I do want you to care. Take the rib cage in, let the leg go down slightly. Press your heel back away from you. And what you want to feel is that your hands are connected. You're feeling your head stretching towards the floor. Now your back is in the game. It's connecting to your belly and from your belly to your heel. Now keep all of that bend into the right knee, optional. And then lift up, straighten, bend. Straighten the whole time. You're pressing your left heel back. And engaging your leg. Woo! And last time, bend. And then release and come all the way back down. Good. Walk your feet in, walk your hands in, or bend your knees and hop forward, back to Uttanasana. Forward fold. Inhale halfway up, and then exhale and fold back again. Arms swing out to the side as we inhale all the way up. Hands go to over your head, down to the heart. All right, so come onto the floor, into a seated pose. Come into Baddha Konasana as we did before and just kind of bounce. Lift all the way up through the spine. Bring your left foot in, and you're going to lift your right foot, almost like what we did in the beginning of the class, except this time, you're going to bring your hands to the center of your foot, holding your arm steady, and pressing your knee back underneath your armpit. Pressing, pressing, pressing. So here, we're hopefully open with our hamstrings and our quads, really opening up the hip flexors. Good. And now you're going to straighten your leg, and you may be holding not your foot, but maybe your calf or your hamstring, and your leg may be down here. So wherever you are in the practice, do that. Good, then release, bring that leg all the way back down. Switch your left leg to be in front this time. Breathe in, lift your leg up. Hands are positioned on either side of your foot. My left hand is on the inside of the leg, and they're meeting in the center of the foot. I want full power of my arms pressing back and pressing back. And pressing back. Let's do it a few times. You can really just allow yourself, again, it's wherever you are in the practice. Allow your shoulders, like Regina, relax your shoulders. Yeah, there you go, relax, relax. It's not a competition. You're just pulsing, pulsing, pulsing. And then lift your leg up. Again, doesn't matter where, somewhere. Wherever you are, though, make sure your toes are engaged, that you might be able to hold your leg because your leg muscles are connected to the bones. And breathe. Good. All right, and then come all the way back down. We're going to come right onto our belly. I want you to have your tie nearby just in case you need it. I'm going to go deeper into the quad stretch again. So here we are onto the floor. I believe we did this last week as well. Two ways of doing this. If you're bringing your leg up and your hip is already going up like this, you have very, very tight quads. And so you need to stay low. You're going to reach behind and either with a tie or with your hand. If you can, keep your hips down and you can bring your heel closer to your hips. You can go up higher, but it is a different kind of a stretch. So now we're stretching the back and the upper part of the arm as well. So you may not be ready for that. So I'm going to show it the lower way to begin with. Holding on with either the tie or your foot. And again, you're pulsing your heel towards your hip. Remember in the other one we did the hip up toward the heel. This time we're just pulsing the heel down to it. And could hit your hip or not, doesn't matter. Move the head of the arm, make sure your head of the arm bone isn't doing one of these. You want your front body open. Otherwise, we're tightening up the front body, which we never want. Pulsing. And I'm using my hand and keeping my elbow right where it is and using my forearm and my hand to pulse. If you are here, it will look like this. And if this is so easy for you, you can be here. Doesn't matter. It just is options for where you are. Good. Then release. Come all the way back down. Woo-hoo. Then you're going to lift up. Let your knees go out to the side, toes together. Roll back, extended child, and breathe. So it's almost like letting some sap out. Just moving some energy. The more we're moving energy through our body, the better we are in terms of rebuilding the body, which is what a lot of yoga is all about. And letting the body stagnate like a pool of water that's just kind of hanging there. You want to be a river. You want to be a river moving. Good, so the other side now, come back onto your belly. Know that two sides are not the same. You could have total flexibility on this side, complete restriction on the other. Whatever it is, we're going to answer to what that is. The low part to begin with, staying low. Again, it depends on if you lift your knee up and your hip is going up, you know you got tight quads. So you're going to stay to low, low, low. Taking your hand or your tie around your foot and you're pulsing it in. Nice deep breath. And again, it is about finding your peace, right? Just being patient, letting your body open the way that the nature opens. It opens incrementally every single day. Incrementally. If you're not paying attention, all of a sudden you'll be springing up like, what happened? But incremental, that's your body, incremental. You can go up or way up. Depending on where you are, what levels really stretches you. Make sure your left head of the arm bone is up and back. It's not doing this. Oh God, that's painful. I can't even do it for long. Ooh, nice. Then release, come all the way back. Hands onto the floor, come into the table pose. Knees out, toes together. Roll back, extend a child. Forearms down. You want a little stretch to the upper part of the arm. You want to settle in. Hands go to prayer over your head. And then let your hands come up over your head. And breathe. And again, we're just looking for the ability to breathe in. I want you to take your rib cage in too in this position. Very easy for the rib cage to start going down. We begin to loosen some things. Just do a little teeny tightening in the bottom tips of the rib cage. And then release and come all the way back up into a seated pose. Come coming into Upavista Konasana. Top of the thighs, inner spiral. Make sure your knees are sunny side up with your toes sunny side up. So if they go to the side, knees go out this way. Now we've lost power, inner groin's gone. All right, here, this is the challenge. I'm going to reset that for myself. Hands up to your head. All right, so head of the arm bone up toward the ear and back. Good, now hug in. Kind of hollow the armpits, if you can see that, hollowing the armpits. I want to get back of my head and my belly to be working together. This is one of those places where very easy for the rib cage to go pokey and for my thoracic spine to collapse. And I want to feel that my thoracic spine is in the game. So back of the head, belly, lengthen up through the spine, pulse it forward, and inhale up. But don't do it in a collapsing way. You're lifting up out of your hips the whole time, pulsing forward, head to hand, hand to head. Again, not a competition, a conversation. Oh, now I'm really coming to my edge, but I'm coming to my edge with everything engaged. I can push it a little bit if everything is engaged, but again, it's that deep listening. I don't want to leave the class feeling like I overstretch my hands, my inner groins. That's not pretty. Toes sunny side up, but I'm telling you, if you have leg pain and you do things with leg or lower back pain, you do things with muscle energy, which is what we're doing right now, it goes away. This is how we manage our ailments, muscle energy and awareness. Head to hand, hand to head. Now really, that's teaching me to really listen more deeply to my belly. Remember, I have half my belly is gone, so I'm looking for some serious action here. And then inhale and come all the way back up. Good. Do want to do a twist here as well, so stay right here. Lift all the way up, take your block. You know me, I think I'm going to bring this all the way to the summer practice. God knows where we're going to go with that. All right, left hand's going to cross over, right hand is on the block. Toes sunny side up. Make sure you're not rounding here. You're not doing one of these, putting a lot of pressure on your lower back. You want to lift up, block here. Left hand crosses over onto the right. Left hip stays down. It's not going to follow your torso. You're hinging, rotating your rib cage, keeping your hips down, and breathing. I press down to lift up a little bit more, which helps me to keep the left thigh down. It's all about other parts of your body, helping other parts of your body get strong and flexible. And that's where, to me, the joy is. Okay. Then come all the way back to center. Take the block to the left side. Right hand is crossing over. Immediately, this leg wants to lift. And I go, no. We're handling, setting back. I'm rotating here. You got to pin down. You got to hold down that position. Here is keeping me honest. Hand to knee to hand. Left hand on the block. I'm pressing down to lift all the way up and rotating. Again, toes are alive and the muscles of your legs are active. Breathing into a nice deep breath. Good. Oh, wow, big pops. All right, then come all the way back to center. Left hand to the inside. Again, hand to arm, arm to hand. Rotate. Well, actually, no, we're warm enough. Take your hand down onto the floor and let it follow your legs. Let it follow your toes. You may need a tie, but it's amazing that once you open this part of the body, how sometimes it creeps up. It's kind of like how spring comes incrementally. All of a sudden, you can touch your toes. Then you can look underneath. way back up. Ooh, let's just come forward for a moment. And again, we're not trying to get our chest down to the ground. What we're looking for is that connection between the hips, your Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and Jalandhara Bandha, that they're all in alignment and you're able to, with strength through your torso, move forward. And then release and come all the way back down. Right hand and the inside. Again, no two sides are the same. Sure, it's not in my body. Left hand comes onto the floor. We're just creeping our hands towards the toes. Creeping, creeping, creeping. And then lifting the arm up, looking underneath. Left hip down. Oh man, it wants to lift up. This is where my core needs to really help the left thigh down. And breathing, but that's where your stretch is. One side is strong and sturdy, the other side is breathing and opening. Moving the sap, and then inhale and come all the way back up. And again, just pulsing forward for a moment. Always mindful of where these are, making sure your feet are engaged. So you're allowing for the opening to happen with security of your muscles engaged. Then you know you're not going to injure yourself. Muscles that are engaged don't normally move beyond where they can. That's the experience I have in my body. Then come back and let your legs just beat. So I want to show you this other stretch, and I will warn you ahead that it is not for the faint of heart. So I'm going to grab my chair and my blanket. I'm using a blanket because the edge of the chair that I'm using has a metal edge to it. I had one time, years ago, anybody that knows Desiree Rumbar, she's one of my favorite teachers. So I did a week-long workshop with her as a kind of relaxation for those of us that were doing the practice. She said we were going to be doing restoratives for on Wednesday for the day. Well, the restorative poses were like using the chair. You were going up and down and through it, in it, upside down, headstand, and look. I mean, it was like they were unbelievable. So this is kind of on that level, on some level. So you've got a chair. Does everyone have a chair? You got to try this. Okay. Now, none of us are men, and I just tried this with Mike, and of course the chair was the seat was not long enough for his long torso. So you're going to start by this. First of all, you want to make sure that your chair might be lifting up, so you want to be conscious of that. We're not overpowering. You're going to put your forearms onto the seat. And you're going to bring your torso, first of all, make sure your feet are hips width apart and solid onto the floor. You want to get to the place where your bra strap is, right where your bra strap is. I'm talking to women here. If men are taking this class on the high, it will be the tips of your scapula is where you want to go. Now, see if you are stable here. Before we do anything else, you want to be stable here. And you want to see if you can bring your head onto the chair. Now that could be an issue. If you have a blanket, you might be able to bring the blanket up if your head, for whatever reason, does not hit the chair. So the first way of pushing this particular pose, you bring your hands up and take the head of the arm bone down towards the seat of the chair. Now you just saw me push my feet out just a little more because there's an adjustment to that. Hold on to the top of your chair with a firm grip. Then I want you to take your hips down towards the floor. And you can do it as much or as little as your upper back will allow you. Head on the seat, you're pulsing, and pulsing is what I mean, taking the hips down. Now I can just kind of go all the way here, but I can tell you that my upper part of my back is not happy. So finding a happy medium of pulsing the hips down, I want to feel sensation. I want to feel the place where I can breathe in and then release. Now, if this seems real easy to you, holding on to the outside of your seat, you might be able to do this, or taking your hand behind your head. But I find you really have to be open in your shoulders to do that. And that may not be available to everyone. This one, hands over your head, seems to give me the most bang for the buck. So I'm pressing down with my hands. I'm pressing, your elbows are pressing towards your knees, and your hips are moving towards the earth. Now, to get out of this, you can go back the way that you came by bringing your elbows onto the seat, then your hands onto the floor, and letting your hips fall onto the floor. Make sure you're on the upper part of your back, T7, T6, in that area, tips of the shoulder blade. How are you feeling with that? Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Oh, now, I've been doing this almost every day for a couple of weeks, and my shoulder, which is normally very tweaky, has settled down. So it's almost like a miraculous thing in my body. So I'm sharing it with you. Again, it calls for that deep listening. But it could also do miraculous things for you. And after all, we're into this, into a more open spring practice. So put on whatever clothes you need and move right into Shavasana from here. And as you move into Shavasana, let your arms open like an A to your side with palms up, and see if you can get the tips of your shoulder blade to lay flat onto the floor after doing that. That releases your nerve system. It just really allows your whole nervous system to relax. And opening up that part of your back is a very healthy thing to do in your body. It gets very stuck and is also responsible for a lot of illnesses. So just kind of let yourself breathe, not to mention it's behind your heart chakra. You always want to keep your heart open. Letting yourself breathe into this late winter practice. Your work is to discover your world. Then with all your heart, give yourself to it. the Buddha. So allow small movements to come back into your fingers and back into your toes. Now let your knees float up into your chest and hug them in, gently rocking from side to side, rolling to one side and pausing for a moment as you breathe into your own inner landscape. And then continue the side roll all the way up to a seated pose, bringing your hands to prayer position at your heart center. And together we will do one Om. So take a breath in. Om. May we have peace in our heart and peace in our mind, and true and everlasting peace and healing on this planet. Namaste. So please unmute yourself and let me know how you're doing.
That was great, Rose.
Good, good.
The last one with the chair, that was pretty good for the abs.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good for everything.
That's what I noticed was,
Rose,
Yeah,
I was with you all the way today.
all right.
Great. But maybe next time with the chair you could do a demo first, and then we can do it.
Well, you were doing it maybe before. I was trying to show you. That's okay, let me get out of the video.